Okay, what am I gonna say? I'm dying. The third... Hey guys, what's up? If you've never seen my face before, my name is Chay. It's really nice to meet you. I would love if you guys would subscribe so I can see more of your beautiful faces. So, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the 5 worst things about boarding school, just to give you a little, like, reality check if you're thinking about going to boarding school. But these aren't, like, the worst things in the world. Like, I live with them every day. They're fine, but... yeah, let's get started. The 5th worst thing about boarding school is that you aren't allowed to have your car on campus. In my junior year, this plagued me so bad. I was like, everything is so hard. I have to ride the bus everywhere. But I eventually like pulled some strings, and if you have special circumstances, you can have your car on campus. So I do have my car on campus now, but the majority of people that I go to school with don't. And that's a really hard thing because you either have to walk, ride the bus, or like your parents have to come get you if you're going like a long distance. So that's a bit of a burden. The 4th worst thing about boarding school is the food. Personally, I don't think it's that bad. I do eat a vegan diet, so it's hard for me to have like an abundance of choices. Usually I can only eat like raw veggies and stuff in the dining hall. But a lot of people do complain about the food. Not that it's necessarily bad, like it's good food, but it does get repetitive because we can only eat at one dining hall and they tend to serve the same things over and over, so it can get a bit repetitive when you're eating there every single day. The 3rd worst thing about boarding school is that it has a significantly higher workload than your average public school. So even though we are on a college schedule, so we just have like Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes and Tuesday, Thursday classes, we have a lot more homework, we have more readings and discussion-based things, and just overall, people tend to have more homework at boarding school. I mean, you're here for school. I mean, of course you want to do homework all day, right? Right? The 2nd worst thing about boarding school is the lack of privacy that you have at boarding school. So living in a dorm room with the roommate is not that bad if you're like me. Like, I'm perfectly comfortable with my roommate, but some people go to the restroom to change clothing. Like, even in their senior year, they've been living with their roommate for 2 years, they still go to the restroom to change, and that kind of blows my mind. But if you're someone like that is very shy with, you're not a very comfortable person, that's like you lose that privacy of having your own room. And also, our restrooms are communal, so there are stalls, both shower stalls and restroom stalls, so you're like using the restroom when someone might be using the restroom right next to you, and you're taking a shower, you're like walking around half naked on your floors, things like that. So you just have a lack of privacy at boarding school as a whole. Number 1 worst thing about boarding school is that you lose a lot of your freedoms when you come here. It definitely is situational depending on how strict your parents are compared to the rules at your boarding school. My parents have never grounded me, but at boarding school I can get grounded. I never really had to check in with my parents. I just kind of had to shoot them a text, but I actually have to check in twice a day at my boarding school. I have to sign out on a card every single time I leave the building. So that's kind of similar to having to tell your parents like, oh, I'm going here or whatever. But you do lose some freedoms while gaining others as well. But that's something that a lot of people complain about, like, oh, why do we have to check in? Why do we have to sign out? Blah, 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 blah. You know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a bit about the 5 worst things about boarding school. As always, like this video if you liked it. I would love you guys to subscribe so I can see more of your beautiful faces. Bye!